Hey guys, all our families, Masters Ranch West. I'll give you a quick update. Some of you guys I've asked my staff to call my parents of my existing boys and let you know that we got a bit of a, what do you want to call it, a little difficulty at the ranch. Basically, how do I explain this? We operate a really clean ship. We never have any difficulties with CPS or anybody else. In Washington State, they're a little stricter than they are elsewhere. But anytime you get a disgruntled parent or child that makes a 911 call on you and says that you've done something amiss, the state has to show up. And we've had 30 or 40 of these visits from the state. They always turn out well. We invite them to look over everything and smell everything. Today's one of those deals. CPS showed up today, unannounced, of course, like they always do. And this was initiated by a hotline call. This call, as far as we can tell, was placed by a disgruntled former employee. And I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you in a nutshell what's taking place. We operate without very, very little physical intervention. That's primarily because we don't take the kinds of kids that need physical intervention. I had a couple of staff members, a single staff as well as a hired staff that's new. Our entire crew is new. And it came to my attention over the last month or so that a few of them were more aggressive than I like. I've done some training with them. I've told them how we operate here. And in a long story short, I finally told Jonathan, my director, that this one particular staff member was no longer allowed to conduct any kind of restraints on our property until he'd been with us for 12 months because he just had a little more aggression and temper than is suitable for me at my ranch. Never at any time did even he do anything that was inappropriate or what they deem as child abuse or anything else. He just was too ready to escalate rather than de-escalate a situation. So I told Jonathan to put him on pause, that if there was any kind of physical intervention needed on a student, and from time to time you do, then he wasn't the one to initiate it. And long story short, both him and a single staff, I ended up letting go. There was a situation that took place with one young student who just came from Russia, who's extremely aggressive, but because of his small stature, he's a tiny little guy of about 90 pounds, we decided that we would take him anyway, though it's against our policy. He is extremely needy young man that you guys are going to love someday. And we just put him on what we call a short leash. He used a lot of aggression with police. Again, at 90 pounds, he didn't do any damage, but he was constantly being restrained by the mental health professionals, the nurses, the police, his parents, you name it. And so we put him up, we call a short leash. In his first 2 or 3 days here, he was restrained for 27 seconds by the video camera. Was not harmed. He was laid down on the floor, told he cannot be aggressive. He was going to try to strike had his fist clenched up, was going to strike one of our ladies, young Jess. So he was intervened by none other than Jonathan. And immediately this disgruntled employee, who was only 2 days away from leaving, ran to our welding shop, started a rumor with our welder, who, long story short, and I've said that 3 times, I apologize, went bananas. And she got all our boys stirred up that this place, he would never allow abuse. Couldn't believe Jonathan jumped his 240-pound frame into the back of a little boy, threatened to kill Jonathan, threatened to take the ranch down. He would, by God, put a stop to it, blah, blah, blah. I ended up calling the man, told him I would do an investigation, which of course I did. Looked at the videos, and talked to the witnesses, talked to the student, talked to the student's parents, did everything right by the book. Later on, this welder called us up and apologized, said, I did not know all that. I am so sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I thought it was all over. But in the course of time, those two got together. They both quit their jobs. One was fired, one quit. And next thing you know, we get a hotline call calling us an abusive program. Parents, I have no way to warn you when this sort of thing happens, and I have no way to prepare for it. We run a very clean ship. No kid's ever been hurt in our place. They never will. But there you go. Social services has to do their thing. We'll do our thing. and we'll let you know what the determination is. You parents are the final arbiter about whether or not your parents talk to them or not, or what the determination will be. We live for your confidence, and we live to see your boys saved, safe, and home to you in the right condition. My wife and I happen to be out of town, of course, because we're going and traveling to pick up all the welders and things we need for our welding program and haul all those back, plus a bunch of timber and lumber we need to build some other structures the kids are going to be building. And of course, as the devil would have it, we're out of town when one of these events takes place. So, at any rate, your boys are fine. Nothing's ever gone wrong or happened to your children. We would never abuse a child, nor would I tolerate it. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I told my cousin, Jonathan, who's our director, I said, Jonathan, this accusation that was made of you, I don't believe it. You couldn't do it, wouldn't do it. He's a public school teacher for 2 decades almost, and a coach for kids up in Alaska. He couldn't do it. But I says, I have to do a full investigation. And he says, I know. And I says, if, hypothetically, this was found to be true, I would have you arrested for child abuse, and that would be the end of it. He said, I know. Go ahead, help yourself. So we did, and of course, there was nothing there. At any rate, I've made a couple of people angry. I've let people go who were too aggressive. The gentleman who called the hotline in, I'm pretty sure, they never tell me these things. He threatened to kill Jonathan. He threatened to take down the ranch. He's a Navy SEAL who could kill all of us if he needs be. I mean, it got pretty aggressive. I can't have that kind of anger and aggression on my property, and we parted ways. I thought friends, but obviously not. Parents, your kids are safe. You guys talk to CPS. You talk to whoever you want to talk to, and we'll continue working as soon as they get out of my hair. So, love you much. I don't know if you believe in the devil or not, but if you do, he's pretty alive and well in our ministry right now. Your boys are fine though.
Hi parents, just want you to know our heart is with you. I'm sorry, it's so bright outside. I'll take my glasses off. Our heart is with you guys. We really believe our ministry is to redeem young men and to place them back into your arms. And whatever is out there, whoever opposes that, we always have people in our lives that do that. We want you to know we love you. We love our boys. We love your boys. They're now our boys. And we're doing the best job we can to get them back home to you. Please keep us in your prayers, and we'll trust God for the outcome.
God bless you. Love all of you. Take care, man. Hey, Matthew. Good to see you, Matt Stankiewicz. I love his quote. This is one of my boys from 12 years ago. Pops, I still got a bruise from all the love you threw at me. I love you, buddy. Thank you. Tyler, got a lot of grads on there. You know what's crazy? I've got graduates here that spent a year or 2 or 3 with me. They wouldn't be here if we were out of hurting kids. I've got kids from the U.S. government. I've got governors of the state's children. I've had the ambassador to Egypt, NFL stars, television personalities. You just don't abuse children like that. So it is what it is. Washington State is pretty liberal. God bless them. I'll keep my doors open to them, but they're not the friendliest bunch you ever worked with. So, all right. But you know what they'll do? They'll snatch your kids up and put them in a state program where, by God, they will be abused, because that's where I started, was in Washington State Corrections, where children came in there, 17 and 18, and they were horrifically abused, which is actually where I got our start, and why we even did this in the first place, was to keep kids from that system. So it is what it is. We got nothing to hide. That's why we don't monitor phone calls. That's why we don't monitor letters. That's why you can show up at a drop of a hat's notice, and why your children can talk to you every week without us listening in on their phone calls. I got nothing to hide. God bless you. When God's done with us, He'll shut us down.
I just want to remind you of the tagline that we put on our communications that I do with you, and it's keeping hope alive. And if you guys pray for anything right now, just pray that we have the opportunity to continue to do that for your boys and for the next 1,000 boys that get to come into our Washington ranch, and that God gets the victory and not the enemy. Love y'all.
And if you know Jonathan and Marla, who are the directors under us at that ranch, or you knew Nathan Clevenger, our master degree counselor, you knew David and his wife Shannon, who just retired from 20 years in the what do you call it, Border Patrol, Christians, who was the head of 1,500 chaplains for the entire United States. Chase and Gina have been with me 3 years. I am just overwhelmed with amazing staff, who the last thing on their mind is to hurt a kid. So God bless you guys. Hope this gets through to you. Bye-bye.
Love y'all.